morning is by my colleague, the Reverend Victoria Safford. Our mission is to plant ourselves at the gates of hope, not the prudent gates of optimism, which are somewhat narrower, not the stalwart, boring gates of common sense, nor the strident gates of self-righteousness, which creak on shrill and angry hinges. People cannot hear us there. They cannot pass through. Nor the cheerful, flimsy gate, the garden gate of everything is gonna be all right. But a different and sometimes lonely place, the place of truth-telling. About your own soul first of all and its condition. The place of resistance and defiance. The piece of ground from which you see the world, both as it is and as it could be, as it will be. The place from which you glimpse not only struggle, but the joy of the struggle. And we stand there, beckoning and calling, telling people what we are seeing, asking people what they see.
Please stand for the lighting of our chalice. This morning's chalice lighting words are entitled, "On the Brink of a New Year." We light this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention. Please join me in saying our covenant, both in English and in Spanish. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, thus do we covenant. La doctrina de este pez es el amor, la búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento, y el servicio es su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar un conocimiento en libertad, servir a la humanidad en comunión. Este es el recto pacto. Please join us in our opening hymn, Gather the Spirit. It's number 347 in the gray hymnal. Good morning. Welcome to Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church. We're so lucky to be enjoying this wonderful fall weather. I'm happy to welcome all of you here in the sanctuary and those of you visiting online via Zoom. I'm Linda Fitzgerald. The pronouns I use are she and her, and I'm honored to serve as your worship associate this morning. We're excited to welcome the Reverend Rebecca Benefiel Bijur to our pulpit once again. Reverend Rebecca is Emerson's affiliated community minister. She is raising 3 children with her husband in Santa Monica and works with the St. Joseph Center in Venice to advance social and economic equity for people experiencing homelessness. Emerson is an inclusive liberal religious community fondly named for the author, minister, and transcendentalist Ralph Waldo Emerson. We have been a bright beacon of liberal justice and a spiritual sanctuary in the San Fernando Valley for over 65 years. We acknowledge that we are located on the land of the Chumash, Tongva, and Kizh peoples, land which remains part of their lasting identity and heritage. Our existence as a spiritual community can never fully be understood without appreciating the depth of the loss of their land in generations past and the enduring hopes for the renewed vitality of these cultures in years to come. For our service today, Reverend Rebecca is leading a celebration entitled The Birthday of the World, in honor of the Jewish observance of Rosh Hashanah, which began Friday evening when our world turned 1 year older. In the words of Ben Sule, in his piece Days of Awe, we feel the season turning, the early sunset glancing through the tinged red leaves, the newspaper arriving in the cool of morning, the flock of migrating geese, a feeling of being on the edge of something new. These are the days of awe, a time to welcome a new year and a time to make the old year right before we lay it in its place on the shelf of our memories. We bless the wine and drink. We bless the braided bread and eat. We dip apple in honey and savor its sweetness. Thank you for joining us in worship this morning. Whether this is your first or your 100th time, you are welcome here. If you are new here today, please don't forget to sign our guest book in the foyer. Also, join us after the service in the pavilion beyond those doors for coffee and conversation. We love to welcome everyone, and especially visitors and new members. If you would like to make an entry in our book of life regarding a joy or concern or memory, please find the book on the candle table beneath the memorial wall. If you are joining us online, please record your thoughts and concerns in the chat. I have a brief announcement about a wonderful fundraiser event for the West Valley Food Pantry. The Evening of Hunger will be held the evening to end hunger, sorry. We're ending it, okay. Will be held Thursday, September 28th. It's their first fundraising event, raising funds for the upcoming community center at the West Valley Food Pantry. The event will honor their late founder, Margaret Shively, and their dedicated partner, the Smart and Final Charitable Foundation. The event will take place at Fogo de Chao, a world-renowned and elegant Brazilian restaurant right in the heart of the San Fernando Valley. It's actually in Woodland Hills. The dinner will include their full churrasco experience with a market table, beautiful wines, fire-roasted meats, traditional Brazilian sides, and delicious vegan and vegetarian option. If you're interested in attending, please go on their website at westvalleyfoodpantry.org. Again, in the words of Ben Sule in Days of Awe, May the sound of the shofar carry us across the threshold where lie the possibilities we imagine for ourselves and our children. Lashana Tova. Let's now greet our neighbors in the spirit of fellowship. Rebecca is going to do a story for all ages.
I'm very glad to be with you all this morning. And some folks, when they see in the order of service the story for all ages, they're like, that's just for the kids. And perhaps if you were looking in the service this morning, you might see that we do not appear to have any children with us. But I always feel like we have to go for it in these moments. And really, this is a time for all ages. So I do want to invite anyone who is young or young at heart to come and join me up here on the chancel. Or if you want to stay seated but are fairly close by, that would also be lovely. You all are amazing. And you're my favorite congregants now, just so you know. Thank you so much. Awesome. Well, this is a very special time of year because it is the birthday of the world. And that is why I brought my birthday basket here with me today. And I'm wondering if any of the folks here who have joined me up at the front would like to share anything that's in the birthday basket. You can pull out anything that you'd like to pull out. You can try to pull out anything that you'd like to pull out. There we go. Awesome. Thank you. You can hold this up. So at a birthday party for the birthday of the world that we're celebrating today, I think we should have a sweet treat. And I could not find in my children's collections of stuffed animals a cake or a cupcake. I am pretty sure that this is a Pop-Tart or a toaster pastry. Thank you so much. That's gonna make our party really awesome. We're gonna have, at the birthday party for the world, we're gonna have a sweet treat. What else are we going to have? We're gonna have a package. We're gonna have presents. We're gonna show how much we love the world by having presents. It might be very tempting to open that present, but it's fake. It's not a real present. It just looks like a present, but it's actually an empty box. Sorry about that. But thank you for pulling that out. All right, what else should we have at our birthday party? Festive headgear? Why, yes, we should have festive headgear. I'll do it. Oh, I know, it is for a child. But I have a very small head. Would anyone else like festive headgear for the party? Anyone? Thank you so much. You want to have Julie at your birthday party, you guys. Right? Because it's nice at a birthday party to have a sense of occasion and festivities. Does anyone else want a crown? Yes? Oh, good. I have 2 more, and I have 2 more takers. Okay, everyone is my favorite congregant now. Thank you. One for you. I sure can. You grab one, and I'm going to give you one, and then I'm going to help you put it on. The birthday of the world. There you go. Perfect. So now we're looking festive. We're wearing some of our festive clothing for the birthday of the world. And there's 2 more things in there. Choose wisely. Awesome. We have birthday candles. This tradition of blowing out birthday candles on a birthday cake is one that COVID has pretty much brought to a halt at the birthday parties that I've been to, which is maybe a good thing, because when you think about it, it really makes less and less sense. But that said, it does add a sense of occasion. And does anyone know how old the earth is turning in Jewish traditions, or actually in any of the other traditions that are having a new year around this time of year, which includes, I think, some Ethiopian cultures? Anyone? 7,000 something is a guess from over here. Good guess. Anyone else? Yes? It's 5784. Very good. Yes. Or, as I like to say, 4.5 billion years, give or take, which is a lot of candles, which is why we're not going to blow them all out. But the thing that we are going to do right now is, I will say that the blowing on the candles on the cake is doesn't make a lot of sense. But something I do love about birthday parties is getting a chance to make a birthday wish. And that makes a lot of sense for me. Because if you are like me, you have some concerns about the world and about how we're going to make the year that's coming a year in which we really honor and celebrate and stand with our Earth and our planet and work together to make sure that we have another 4.5 billion years to go. Maybe not us personally, but the things that we love about the planet. And so I would like to invite you, if you would like to close your eyes in just a minute and think about what your birthday wish would be. Now, in my family, if you say your birthday wish out loud, it might not come true. So you can just hold this wish in your heart and in your mind. If you want to later on, you can share it with someone, especially if you need any help making it come true. But for now, just please close your eyes and make that birthday wish, and I'm going to blow out our candle for the birthday of the world. Thank you so much. I know some people don't like clapping in church, but I think all of these individuals deserve a big round of applause. Thank you so much. And I think we say our affirmation now. You guys can head back to your seats. Thank you so much. Perfect, thank you. All right, we are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds and loving hearts and welcoming hands.
The words for offering this morning are by Victoria Weinstein. And the purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather there to grow more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of all the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting church and its many ministries. Sharing the plate this month, we're sharing the plate with Haven Hills. For over 45 years, Haven Hills has provided safety and support to victims of domestic violence in the West Valley. Haven Hills offers shelter, crisis intervention, counseling advocacy, and activities supporting increased economic opportunity for over 2,500 women, men, and non-binary people each year. In doing so, they help survivors of domestic violence find the strength within themselves to break the cycle of abuse and build a new, productive, and joyful life for themselves and their children. Donations can be made at donate.emerson.org and by selecting Sunday offering. If you're making a check, please make it payable to Emerson UU Church and write "Share the Plate" in the memo. If you'd like to make a payment on your pledge, please write "Pledge" instead in the memo. The ushers will now come forward and receive the offering. This morning, Paul is going to provide special music for us, as he has been. Thank you so much, Paul.
So this fits the beauty theme for September and the new year. Appreciating, yes. Appreciating, feeling things instead of just thinking them. All right. I wrote this in college, so picture Humboldt, 1990. Via Jefferson Airplane, 1968, 7 maybe, 66. Somewhere in between. Dave's going to help out on djembe. Thank you. Third verse, Dave.
Whenever that happens, I have no idea.
I'll go, Dave. Okay. glimpse of the inside. You know, when I let go, the treasure of life begins to unfold. Mother Earth, may we behold, with giving back and not be sold. Our roots are intertwined and raised up through the vine. Hey! Now I am with the other side. Everlasting joy ride. Reason may shine on truth, but in the heart, beauty thrives. At first, the beat was just 1 and 2. 1, 2. Rhythm nice, but just like a clock, tick tock, but then when I let go, the treasure of life begins to unfold.
If you'll get comfortable and relaxed and relax your gaze and hear the words of our meditative prayer this morning. In this new year, may we leave behind the weight of unfulfilled resolutions, of unrealized dreams, and of unrealistic expectations. May we unpack the heavy weight of stories that tell us we are unworthy and unlovable. May we remember that we each carry inside of us a spark of the divine. In this new year, may we carry kindness, gentleness, and hope that hold us through even the hardest days and the most daunting tasks. May we carry the weight of memory that reminds us of who we are, and the weight of spirit that reminds us of who we are still becoming. May we carry the seed of knowledge that teaches us that improvement and growth aren't linear and individualistic, but aren't cyclical and communal. May we carry the wisdom to seek rest and connection, to lean into mutual care. May we carry the certain belief that when we have patterns of thinking and behaving that harm ourselves and others, we can seek resources that will help us move towards healing. May we carry the knowledge that happiness and success take many shapes, and one of those shapes is purpose. May we carry purpose lightly, trusting that it changes and evolves and surprises us. And may we carry curiosity, wonder, and the ability to be surprised. This new year, may we carry space for all of our flaws, all of our longings, and all of our love, remembering that the truly daring adventure of life is not to be better, best, but to show up wholly, authentically, lovingly as ourselves. May we carry these prayers and each other into the new year. May it be so. We do have 2 entries in our Book of Life this morning. Prayers for Amelia and Latanya. Prayers, and Eric Schmidt writes, prayers and sadness for the thousands and thousands of people in Libya who died in flooding, probably due to global climate change, and also in Morocco, who lost lives and homes from recent earthquakes. Pray it doesn't happen here.
There's one from the Book of Life.
Okay, great.
And for folks who are joining us online, there was an entry from the folks online as well. Alice would like us to know that my dear friend Diane passed away on Wednesday from leukemia at age 42. I was so grateful to be able to hold her as she took her last breath. We've been friends since we were 14 years old. She stayed positive until the very end, always expressing gratitude for everything in her life, even telling nurses in the hospital how blessed she was while going through chemo. She was truly an inspiration, and I will miss her tremendously. Our thoughts and our prayers were with you and with her family.
If you would like to speak a name of a person or event into this space now, please do so. May it be so.
As we gently leave our time of shared embracing meditation, we do have a responsive reading to share with you all. And instead of having one read and the congregation response, we're actually going to split up into 2 groups by our birthdays. Bit of a theme today. So if your birthday is between January 1st and June 30th, you will read with me. And if your birthday is in the other half of the year, you'll read with Linda. And our reading is in the back of our hymnals. It's also going to be up here. And it's called Morning Poem by Mary Oliver. So let's do this. Every morning, the world is created.
Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again.
And fasten themselves to the high branches, and the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies.
If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere.
And if your spirit carries within it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging,
So somewhere deep within you, a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted.
each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly every morning.
Whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray.
Thank you all again for having me back in the pulpit. Oh, I almost forget about this part. So much better. So the night I turned 18, I celebrated with my family at the American Hotel in Jerusalem. I grew up overseas. I was part of a foreign service family. I was born in Tokyo, and I lived in lots of different places or I've traveled in many different places across Asia. I didn't live in that many places. I lived in Japan, I lived in India, and my family for a while lived in Israel, which is where they were for my 18th birthday. And the American Hotel in Jerusalem that night was warm, and the stone walls had a little bit of light on them. There was probably a fountain. And I have to say, if you would like to have a sense of your history, Jerusalem is a place to be. But if you'd like to have a sense of where you're going, I recommend turning 18, because it's a time in our culture and in our lives when it seems like a lot of things are still possible. That summer, we had moved from New Delhi to Tel Aviv, and I was getting ready to go to college. And my sister pointed out that I didn't have a bathrobe yet. And so she bought me one of the really plush, fancy bathrobes from the American Hotel in Jerusalem. She said, you're going to need it to get from your dorm room to those showers down the hall. And she was right, which is how you know that she is my older sister, because older sisters should be right. So the next year, I was home from school, and I traveled for the summer, and I turned 19 in a seaside resort in Turkey. And I congratulated myself yet again for being in such a memorable place for my birthday, although I actually can't remember the name of the resort or where exactly we were in Turkey. But I do remember wondering, back at 19, how long can I keep this up? Being in a fantastic new place all over the world for my birthday, and the answer was that was the last one so far, because my family actually moved back to the States that summer, and my birthdays became a lot less exotic. So that was really it for some of my most memorable birthdays, although as I was coming in, someone was sharing that their family had a memorable birthday this week when someone turned 21. And then I was like, oh, I do remember that one as well. That was a good birthday. And then, of course, we remember some of our best birthdays, but we also remember some of our worst birthdays, an unfortunate aspect of being so aware of the calendar, because sometimes our birthdays do have that sense of being kind of sidetracked or lonely or a little melancholy. That's also part of our birthdays. I remember the time I was sick on my birthday at a vacation cottage in Minnesota. I remember the year when something terrible happened in the world on a birthday. My son's birthday is also my mother's birthday, which is May 25th, which now many people know as the day that George Floyd was murdered. And a friend of my brother's birthday is actually September 11th, which is a tough time to have a birthday. These days, too, become sticky in time, stuck with these associations that are beyond ourselves, but part of the greater memory of our collective life together. You may feel the same way about the birthday of a person you love who is no longer alive, which can sneak up on a person and then leads to this careful calculus, counting up the years that they didn't have, since they are in some ways the same age they were when they died, or remembering the celebrations you did have together as they retreat through the years. My dear friend Anne died very suddenly and tragically 3 years ago. In my mind, she is still 40. But her child, who also died, is somehow now 3, which is the age he would have been if he had lived. Even with careful consideration and with calendar reminders from our artificial intelligence assistants, our timekeeping can get a little inaccurate, even around birthdays, which you'd think we would be able to keep track of. My husband's grandfather was famous in his long old age for getting older at a rate faster than 1 year at a time. He somehow decided to leap forward into his 80s and bounce around a little bit there, which was particularly confusing since he was old enough that the real year of his birth was not so easily known, or the number of years between him and his siblings. We started to think that maybe he was hoping to overtake his older brother in real time, somehow by growing older just a little bit faster. If you are a younger sibling, you might have entertained this fantasy as well, that someday you'll be older than your oldest siblings, but it's not really going to be true. Even if you outlive them, the day of their birth will continue to be before your own. You can tell that I'm a middle child when I say this, that I'll always be my brother's older sister and also my sister's younger sister. Now, as I said before, our birthdays can definitely be about festivities and fun and games, and I appreciate, again, the folks who celebrated with me a little bit earlier today. But there's also something hard about our birthdays. Aging is not easy in our culture for some of us. The poet Kathleen Rooney says it this way: "Happy birthday to you is a bit of a dirge." She writes that birthdays are about pleasure and excess and decadence, but pleasure is painful because memento mori, because hoary cliche, we're not getting any younger. She writes, the candles go out. Better to blow them dark yourself. In her poem entitled Birthday, Rooney offers a mix of confetti memories of her own birthdays, alongside some wry observations of how celebrating our arrival in the world is a little silly at heart, but perhaps also exists to remind us of our foolishness and our own silliness for imagining that we can control what ends up being the most memorable or important about our lives. She writes in the same poem, birthdays are okay, but what about death days? Of the 365 days we cycle through annually, on one of them we will cease to be alive. Should the hour of arrival be more of a factor, she asks? Should some of us have birth nights? And in the final stanzas, she gives us this: there's no predicting the days of greatest significance. Best simply to be vigilant. So if today is the birthday of the world, should we be wondering, as Kathleen Rooney says, about its end as well? In another 4.5 billion years, or perhaps somewhat sooner, in the ongoingness of beings who are here now, for our children's children. This can never be far from our minds and hearts in these days of climate catastrophe and collapse, as the floodwaters claim too many lives in Libya, as the hurricanes hurtle inland on every coast, as the temperature readings are always a heat record, and as the impact of climate migration shows up on the syllabus to be studied in my daughter's first-year seminar at back-to-school night. It's everywhere. Like my husband's grandfather, our planet too is getting older at a bit of an accelerated rate. And today is another good day to hold our worry and our grief alongside our commitment to collective action for its future, with groups like those that meet right here at the church for climate justice ministries, with support for all those who are gathering in New York for climate justice this week, with students who are striking here in Los Angeles. Which all brings me back to this festival time of year in the Jewish calendar, the Rosh, the head of the Shana, the new year, which sends us off into the new year with symbols of renewal and hope that are baked into a sense of reflection and grounding and grappling with what has come before. No matter where today finds you, in the spirit of the new year, I have to say it is not too late for you and for us. It's not too late to keep on, to pick up where you left off, to start anew, and to begin again in love. But I have to be honest, my spiritual companions, this is not my strong suit on my birthday time of year. I can't remember ever devoting a birthday as a day to reflect on where I've been or who I've been with, or to set intentions for the year to come. I think this is because for me, doing these things on my own does not ring as true as the opportunity to do them in community, as our Jewish kin are doing in community to celebrate this birthday of the world. Such a significant improvement over those solitary or individualized rituals of ringing in a more secular new year with resolutions. For me, community would be better, knowing that my people are joining me in that reflection, not alone, but as a collective together. And this is why it's been so heartening to me in the past few weeks, so encouraging to see communities reminding me of the circles and cycles of these celebrations, setting aside time for reflection and connection that is based not in a one-time linear progression, but in a recognition of the spiral and circle of our lives. If you have experienced small group ministry or some 12-step groups or support groups, I hope you know what I mean. For me, it started with an invitation to a friend's menopause circle, which I had never had before, but hope I will have again in the future, and I'll say more about it in a moment. And then when another colleague invited me to a circle to celebrate a milestone transition in her life that was not a wedding or a memorial service or a new baby. Both of these women were stepping into a sense of occasion for reflection and celebration that went beyond a linear form. They wanted to pause in community on the edge of their own lives and consider what they needed in that moment. At the menopause circle, our leader brought together a group of women with about 40 or 60 trips around the sun to our names. The intent was to speak honestly about how our bodies change as we age, and to celebrate those changes as well as grieving the losses that aging brings, and how those losses are held in our bodies and in our cultures. We didn't all know each other before coming into the circle, but our leader set an intention for truth-telling and vulnerability that sheltered us even as strangers and supported each voice speaking. I wonder what my birthdays would be like if I didn't only collect cupcakes and champagne, but also called a ring of my own people together. We could pretend that we were trees, adding circles and circles and circles to our lives. And as we convene that circle, made up of voices and bodies, both younger and older than my own, I think I could get closer to what that poet called the place of truth-telling, the place of resistance and defiance, the place where I listen and lift my voice to speak about my own soul first and its condition. How often that place of reflection has been for me in a circle, in a friend's backyard, in a church meeting room, around a shared table. These ordinary occasions are not memorable one in the other, but they slip together like beads on a necklace made from all the gifts that we've always already had. No ribbon or wrapping paper needed. A willingness to sit with each other, the the courage we need to hold and share our memories and hopes. At the gates of the new year, Jewish traditions honor the human need to linger for a moment on that threshold between the past and the future. The days of awe give us a reason and a collective community to support us in a tradition that is wiser than any one of us. And yet, it is also true that the practices of the circle are available to us in any time of year. Any time that we choose to reflect in the circle of the seasons, the circle of the earth going around the sun. A birthday circle, a menopause circle, a transition circle, a climate action circle. It's not too late, and we already have what we need. We can start with the good gift of this day. We can start with each other. Ich liebe mein Leben in wahrsten Ringen. I live my life in widening circles, the poet tells us, and I wonder what circles will hold your clear seeing and your deep listening in the days and weeks and months to come of this new year. Truly, it is only fitting that our incredible guest musician, Paul, who's done such a brave and beautiful job of holding this service together, will close our time together in just a few minutes with a round. I know rounds are not everyone's favorite, and yet it had to be a round to end today's service in a circle, a song that can start and finish in more than one place, especially when sung by more than one voice. The words are simple, but I hope you will let them sink into your spirit and bring you into this new day and new year with a sense of renewed hope and connection and purpose. Happy birthday, world, and Happy New Year.
Instead of piano, I think I'll just play right here. I'm closer. More Pete Seeger-like, right? Yeah. So, we're gonna, some of you will split like right there. But let's sing Morning Has Come Together first, maybe twice, just to get the tune going. And then we'll do this side first. And Rebecca will take you, and you can help along. And we'll do it a couple times till it feels right. And we'll see where it goes. So on guitar, so it'd be like, so the first time would be, morning has come, night is away, rise with the sun shining as we welcome the day. Let's do it twice, so ready? 1, 2, 3. Morning has come, night is away, rise with the sun shining as we welcome the day. One more together. Morning has come, night is away, rise with the sun shining as we welcome the day. Ready? Morning has come, night is away, rise with the sun shining as we welcome the day. Morning has come, night is away, rise with the sun shining as we welcome the day.
Shining and welcome the day.
Very good. Yeah.
When you leave our space and time together here in the sanctuary or online, and whether your birthday is today or not for 11 more months and 29 more days, I want you to know I'm so glad you were born. The world is richer because you are in it. I'm grateful that you chose to be here in this congregation this morning. And my birthday wish for you, which we will all make come true together, is for you and our world, is for shared prosperity and responsive hope and an active peace, today and in all the days to come. Amen, and blessed be.
I'm going to close with the vocal of this one because of your sermon. It's because it's past and future and present, so. 365 days have gone, be 365 more. No matter how many years go on, right now is what we live for. Right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today. Right now, not tomorrow, each moment we love when we play. 365 days have come to be 365 days. No matter how many years go on, right now is what we live for. Right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today. Right now, not tomorrow, each moment we love when we play. 365 days have gone, will be 365 days. No matter how many years go on, right now is what we live for. Right now is what we live